Hello, this is Strange Times number 7. Got a bit of a weird one from the UK to start off with. I don't know if it's paranormal, I think this is a real animal, but man, it looks weird, and they say Australia's got some weird animals. Check this out. Raccoon Dog. Residents have been advised to be vigilant as 2 raccoon dogs terrorise a small town in England. A wild raccoon dog has been terrorising a UK village, terrifying locals and attacking pets. Police were called to Clareborough in Nottinghamshire this week after residents were subjected to a 2-hour standoff with the strange-looking animal. Look at this thing. Villager Mandy Marsh was woken by a blood-curdling scream early on Tuesday morning, and her husband, Dale, ran outside to see a raccoon dog confronting the couple's pet goat and pony. Quote, "He came back and he said to me, 'You're going to have to come and see this. There's something in the field attacking the pony, and I've absolutely no idea what it is,' she said. This raccoon was absolutely crazy. It was hissing and screaming and snarling," Mrs. Marsh added. "It was going absolutely mad." Close quote. Armed with planks of wood, the couple took 2 hours to chase the angry raccoon dog away, although their pet goat was left with a sore shoulder and scratches following the animal's attack. The raccoon dog returned moments later to confront a dog walker outside the Marsh's home. Police have warned local residents to be vigilant. 2 raccoon dogs went missing from a nearby enclosure on the morning of May 28, according to Nottinghamshire Police. Quote, "The animals, which are described as being the same size as a medium to small-sized dog, are potentially dangerous if approached, as they are not domesticated." Close quote. Ms. Marsh said a local wildlife tracker offered to help track the raccoon dogs. He told her something had been attacking local animals recently. Raccoon dogs are not raccoons, but are members of the canid or dog family, according to the UK's Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. They are related to foxes and wolves. Is this a common thing over in the UK? Have you guys that live there, have you heard of these things before or seen one? Or because they're crazy looking things. Look at it. Okay, the next one is, what is it? It's Ogopogo in Canada. Canadian man claims he's caught definitive evidence of Ogopogo on film. Canadian Jim LaRoque of South Okanagan recently captured what he's claiming is definitive evidence of the lake monster known as Ogopogo. LaRoque said he was at his mother-in-law's lakefront property in Caledon, British Columbia, Canada, on June 1st with his 2 children when he noticed an anomalous wake on Skaha Lake. Quote, "And all I heard was like a swooshing sound," he said. LaRoque recorded the disturbance with his cell phone, and his son drifted nearby on a paddleboard. He believes the weird wave was caused by 7 fins paddling in sync. Reactions from customers and colleagues to whom he's shown the video at the liquor store he owns have been largely supportive. Quote, "At first I was thinking maybe just waves, but there's obviously something more there," said one man. Cryptozoologist Bill Stekiuk Oh man, I'm just going to put the spelling up there, you guys can work it out. That's his last name. Who has been hunting Ogopogo for over 20 years and runs the Ogopogo Quest website, was skeptical of the video, mostly due to the phenomenon's estimated length of over 120 feet. Quote, "Well, it's certainly an interesting video," he said. "There's never been any reports, really, of anything that big." Close quote. University of British Columbia Okanagan environmental scientist Dr. Robert Young thinks there may be a mundane explanation for the sighting. Quote, "I believe it's something that I'll call an Ogopogo wave," he said. "I think it's a product of overturn that happens seasonally, where lake layers of different temperatures and depths will pass each other." Close quote. Seems reasonable. But LaRocque is insistent that what he captured is the real deal. Quote, "I can't wait until everybody sees the video," he said. "It will make you a believer. It's 100% definitive." Close quote. And here's the video. I've got to say, I think I am leaning towards the scientific explanation. And don't you like how, he spotted this monster in the middle of the lake, and there's his son out there, probably 30 or 50 meters or something away from this monster, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, I'll just get my phone out and just film this. Monster's about to eat my son, but it's good footage." I kind of like this next story. Shut up, Crow. It's a near-death experience. Man teleported to desert after near-death experience. A motorcyclist who suffered a near-death experience believes he was teleported to a desert, possibly in another dimension, after suffering a life-threatening injury. A fall from his motorbike resulted in a man, who only gives his name as John, slamming his head onto the ground. John says that as his head crashed onto the floor, he believes he was instantly teleported to another dimension, which was desert-like, with pulsating skies. Quote, "The ground was sandy but solid, and I could smell the desert air. I've done military service in Kuwait, Qatar, and Afghanistan, so I know what it smells like. It was hot, but I felt a cool breeze. In front of me was a rocky outcrop, or cliff face, that extended from the ground to about 20 feet high. On the top, there was a desert tree with no foliage, and it looked dry as you would expect. The sky pulsed quickly from a sky blue to a deep purple, and then back again. It was as if the days were speedily passing by. The bright daylight on the cliff face stayed exactly the same. I was aware of something observing me, but I didn't see anything. I was in awe at the sky, but was slightly fearful at the fact that I was in a desert. I had a sense of dullness and indifference as well." Close quote. Then suddenly, John snapped back to reality and found himself in a hospital. Some researchers say these visions are normal phenomenon and not necessarily a sign of an afterlife. It's not your usual sort of near-death experience? With the tunnel of light and relatives, and you know how the story goes. Yeah, it's a bit different. Pretty interesting. And this last one is one that I found it ages ago on Reddit, and it's a pretty cool story. I was going to make like a video the way I used to do it out of this, but it's only a short story, so I'll just share it here. I was a rookie cop when my brother committed suicide. He was one of my older siblings, but we were very close. He died in another state, and I had a lot of guilt then about not recognizing the signs. His remains were in bad shape by the time he was discovered, so it was a closed coffin service. About a week after he died, I was back at work one night, and my partner and I see a pimp pistol whipping one of his girls. I jump out and the pimp sees me, and the foot chase was on. I was running after him, gun in hand, and he cuts through a narrow corridor under a building that leads to a courtyard in the middle. Right before I reach the courtyard, I hear, "It's okay," in my dead brother's voice. I hit the courtyard, and the guy is standing by the side, pointing a gun at my head, and squeezes the trigger twice. I froze for a millisecond, and then I started beating him in the head with my revolver. To this day, I don't know why I didn't just shoot him. I cuff him and walk him back to the street to find my partner. I tell my partner about him squeezing the trigger, but not about the voice I heard. We unloaded the gun, which was a .32 revolver, right there, and 2 bullets have strike marks on them. I take the gun to the lab for testing, tell the tech the story. He puts the 2 bullets with the strike marks back in the revolver and shoots into the test tank. Both bullets fired. How freaky. And that's all I've got for today. It's just a short one. Sorry for missing last week too, if anyone noticed. I know a couple did. Was it? Left me a message saying, "Where the hell are you? Strange life." But yeah, I've been really busy. I've got a little project in real life that I'm working on, so I'll try and get these out on time, but, sometimes I can't. You guys don't really care. You'll let me off. And so I guess I bid you adieu until next week. Catch you then.